Hello there, life group leaders. This is Chad and Becky, and we're here to talk about CityServe. It's that time of year when we start to gear up to jump into this huge project, and we're excited again this year. Becky's kind of our go-to person to connect life groups with CityServe, and so she's here to answer some specific questions about what that looks like. So let's just jump into some of the logistics, Becky. Can you tell us if a life group wants to serve together as part of CityServe, what should they do?
Well, they have two options. They can either, number one is they can either come up with a project on their own. Maybe they have a connection with somebody in the community, a community service organization, a neighbor, a friend, someone in the neighborhood that needs something done. That's great. We love people to generate their own projects, particularly if they already have those relationships established. You can go to the CityServe website, you can register that project, and then shoot me an email saying, this is our life group project, we want to serve together, hold that for us. And then once the CityServe team approves that, can deem that that's a doable project, we can resource it well, then we will go ahead, we will put you down for that, and you'll be ready to serve. The second way is you can just go onto our website, onto the CityServe website, and go through the whole list of the projects that have already been approved and are ready for sign up, determine how many people in your group are willing to serve that weekend, look for projects that can support that number of people, and sign up online. Simple as that.
So it's important that the number of people that are in a group that want to serve together fits within a particular project, right? This is something we've had some problems with in previous years. You say, well, this is a project for 6 people. We have 38 people in our group, and we all want to serve together, so we're going to do that project. But that doesn't work, right?
It doesn't work,
okay.
And your registration will be kicked back out. Unfortunately, there's no way for us to say, there's 10 people in the group, 11 want to serve. That's okay. When you sign up, you'll see the project will list how many slots are still open in that project, and you will not be able to sign up any more people than those slots that are open. So if it says 10 people in your life group can go and serve on that project, but 11 cannot.
Right. And those are not arbitrary numbers. Each of these projects are thought through. How many people can reasonably do this? We don't want people, to be bumping into each other when they're working.
Precisely.
We don't want there to be congestion. We don't want there to be confusion. We want there to be enough supplies, all of those sorts of things. So there are reasons where those numbers come from. So we would just ask that you respect those numbers, and if your group is a certain size, find a project that'll work for your group. And again, that takes us back to the first option. If there isn't a project that fits sort of exactly what your group is all about, you have the option, if you want to come up with your own.
Absolutely.
You just need to make sure that you submit it to the CityServe team so they know about it, they can get it in the system, they can make sure that everything's situated with that.
Absolutely, and as a matter of fact, if you find a project and maybe your life group isn't quite big enough to support that whole project, let us know that. We can open up extra slots and get some other folks to come and serve alongside you, which is a great way for your life group to reach out and serve along some other folks that maybe you wouldn't normally be serving with that weekend.
An important point that we want to emphasize is the idea of registering early. Now, we realize that you are Calvary folks, and we don't necessarily function at Calvary with a whole lot of significantly advanced planning. But the CityServe team, because of the huge scope of this project, has put a lot of work in the advanced stages to get this set up. And it's important for you, if you want a particular type of project or a particular size project, any of those things, the sooner you can register, the more likely you are to find the sort of project that works for your group. So we would encourage you, even if it's a little bit against the grain, if it's a little bit sort of counterintuitive, start the conversation now. Make the decision now and get yourself registered. It'll really increase the likelihood that you can do what you want to do.
Absolutely. And to put a little bit more pressure on that whole entire issue.
Please apply pressure, Becky.
What happens is if we don't have all of these projects filled by a certain deadline, we unfortunately have to call some of these organizations and say, we're sorry we can't support these projects this year, and we just can't wait around for Calvary folks to show up on Saturday ready to work, and the community organizations just simply aren't ready to tear down their walls and have us paint. So. Right. It's important for both ways.
And then these community organizations that we love, they get the short end of the stick.
Exactly.
So, again, we're saying it clear, we're saying it loud, register as early as you can.
Please.
So this year, I understand that you have come up with this clever acronym, the POC, which stands for the point of contact.
Right.
Tell me what the point of contact is.
Well, there was some frustration last year when people went to sign up and we asked for everybody and their brother's name, email address, phone number, and everything. And it was very cumbersome to fill out the entire form. So this year, to sort of save some time on both of our sides, we've just asked that each life group designate a point of contact person who is willing to handle all the communication. You will just go on, once your group decides what your project is, you'll just go online, sign up for that project, and we just need one name, and I am Joe Smith, my phone number is, my email address is, and there are 12 people in our group, and we're signing up for a project that has 12 open slots, and you're good to go.
And then that person would be responsible if, for instance, weather stuff comes up or something like that. They would be the person who'd be responsible. Then they would get the initial communication from the CityServe team, and then they would let everybody in the
Precisely.
group know what's going on.
Precisely, yep,
Okay.
and, or if
Very
there's something happens within the life group and they can't serve, that person knows that it's their responsibility to contact us, or if, just general questions about what the project is, we're happy to handle those, but we just like to do that through one primary person.
That's great. And this is the sort of thing that, we always talk about leadership development within life groups. This is one of those places where you can potentially identify somebody in the group that's maybe not the formal life group leader, but somebody that can take this piece and run with it, as an opportunity to let somebody have some ownership, help out, get involved. And so we'd encourage you to think of maybe having somebody else besides you as a life group leader who would step into this role. If you want to do it, that's fine. There's no rules that say life group leaders can't be points of contact. But think about who else you could get involved. And maybe it'd be somebody who hasn't been highly involved in leadership in the past, but this would be the kind of thing that they could do. Not highly complicated, but really important.
Great way to serve.
Yeah, for sure. One final point that we just wanted to make, if you have any questions about how your life group can participate in CityServe, Beckie's the person to go to. If any of the stuff that we're talking about seem, well, that doesn't quite answer our question, we have a unique situation going on, whatever the case might be, feel free to contact Beckie and she'll sort of personally walk you through whatever you need to know, whether that's registration or particular projects or anything of the sort. Go to Beckie, okay? We look forward to having a whole bunch of life groups serving in CityServe this year. I'd say it's one of the coolest things I think we do at Calvary. We're looking at hundreds and hundreds of people, 1,000+ people all across the community, blessing people in a multitude of different ways. And I don't think it gets much better than that. So make sure you get on board. We're excited to hear God's stories on the tail end of this to see how he was at work through this amazing project.